Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be talking about the 1.16 update, which has just literally been announced by Dayz and Begginer. So, for no further ado, let's get straight into it. So, in the new 1.16 update, we're going to be seeing the introduction of the one and only PP90 BIZON, which in the game I think it will be called the BIZON SMG, as it shows here on the added experimental update log. So, the PP-19 BIZON, if you didn't know, is a Russian AK-based SMG firing either the 9mm Makarov or the 32 ACP, both Russian calibers, which is very fitting obviously for Dayz. It's coming with a 64 round BIZON magazine, and as well, it'll be coming with the alarm clock. The BIZON may be able to use a top mounted sight, but it can hold the SMG suppressor, as you see on the picture literally in front of you. And as well, the alarm clock, I believe, would be a distraction for zombies, but it also would be cool if you could do timed explosions with it. But I'm not sure, we'll yet to see. A lot of more fixed is the player sometimes step forward during melee combat with a close target while only intended for far targets. Not sure about that one. Fireplaces will probably disappear if the last attachment removed were stones or a tripod. It was possible to detach a tripod from a fireplace when the pot was attached. The place UI element would show falsely when pointed at an indoor fireplace with selected consumables. Dead chicken couldn't be buried after being picked up and dropped. Fire mode of revolver was changed during shooting. I've never really seen any of these, so I think it may be more towards PC side, but I've personally never seen them. Shock was not decreasing when swimming backwards, sideways, broken leg. That is an issue. I've seen that happen. Moving with broken legs while crouched could deal unsteady amounts of shock damage. It was a lot. Infected players were not sure of the plus symbol in the event review when they had only items as attached. Dug items were levitating above the ground. Never seen that one personally. Client error when using detaching items to reinforce tripwire. Specific cases of tripwire did not display in the detached slot. Smoke from every car engine was only displayed for the driver. Never seen that one. Attacking with animal carcasses could cause blood particles and knife slashing sounds. The interface Cycle 120 was accessible through its engine rather than trunk. That is a thing. The player could be desynced if the legs were broken during an action. The player could be desynced if the legs were broken while swapping items. Locked indoor stoves could not be opened by force. Interrupting two-handed animations by dropping the tool could freeze the character. That is true. I've actually had that myself, and I've got killed many times because of it. Infected were able to climb fences with barbed wire on top. The UI of deployed landmines could be seen when holding another landmine in hands. Shooting while on the back with kicking would play the kick animation for each slot or each shot. Hitting the back of a player's head would hit the brain instead of the head. I've never had that one, but as you can see, there is a lot. Sound of disease symptoms of another player would play from the wrong position. Fix several inconsistencies when it comes to bullet penetration of objects. The combination lock would play a sound while it hands without being actively used. Yes. And the amount of times I've had that is insane. The light source of head torch was in the wrong position. Fix and export of extended melee hit damage. The flame of the gas stove was slightly clipping through the frying pan. Slightly improved twisted wrist while holding certain items. Several headgear items were clipping for the female survivor head introduced in 1.15, so that's a new one, the redhead one. Fixed typographic errors of the 1PN51 scope, which is the Russian. Infected had bad collisions while crawling. It was impossible to hit players in a vehicle with melee from the opposite side. Wolves could be injured players inside vehicles. It was possible to survive without food at all by only drinking. I've never had that one personally, but that is an interesting one. Some localized settings were fully displayed. It was possible to place landmines on the train tracks. Names of vehicles parts were not present when the car became ruined. Chats were not reacting to the vehicles. It was possible to destroy fence frame before the actual wall. Never had that. Kind of interesting. Adjusted certain structures to prevent exploits. Fixed a badly reflecting window at Yellow Brick Military Building. Some items could not be picked up in NWF construction site. I believe that's more like the ones clipping through the crates and stuff. It was possible to bury corpses inside buildings. FOV setting changes were not saved upon reconnect. Respawn points for several service switching was not functional as intended. Sound of flies were persistent even after the body despawned. A just misleading description of codeine tablets. So that is a lot. I believe 90% are to do with servers itself, making sure they're more stable, and make sure your time playing the game is not bugged by a lot of in issues within the server, and making sure that obviously you're not going to die from dumb shit. But yeah, props to Bohemia for finding all these. These were indeed a lot of the ones from feedback, which is awesome. And there are a lot more. At the moment, I'm just going the fixed, and we'll do changed. Increase the threshold for terrain clipping, allowing easy placement of buildings objects off the ground. Is no longer possible buried with ruined items, which is true. Consuming charcoal has no effect when another charcoal is already in an active player's body. Increase energy and water given by mushrooms. Some jackets can now be torn into rags similar to the plant's counterpart. Remove the action of taking fireplace from fireball. Craft an item using metal wire will produce an item with the same health as metal wire used. First aid kits and teddy bears can now be repaired with sewing kits. Protected case and ammo boxes can be repaired with pockety putty. The gas stove now emits light when active. The pickaxe can now be used to bury things and bodies. Duct tape can now be utilised to craft a splint. Hid the UI element showing the parts of a car while sitting inside. Slightly reduce the penetration value of 556. Reduce the range of thermometer results. Rotate the electrical repair kit in the inventory to show the front. Reduce the inventory size pumpkin. Slices for consistency. Bird traps now don't kill affected, but just bit of a leg. Damage attempt now also damages items inside. Adjusted damage zone sections of vehicles. Blood hands no longer make the character sick while driving from containers. Red and orange armbands were looking too similar in certain lighting. Tweaked the mid-air appearance of tracer bullets. Renamed folding book stocks to lightweight. So base raiding is now going to be an interesting concept. You can now, obviously, if you have duct tape without bandages, enough bandages, you can now go ahead and make it using duct tape, which is awesome. And also a lot of differences which will make the in-game play a lot more challenging, which is really cool to see. Which means that Bohemia has really gone up full big brain for this one and really did a solid. So if you're liking what you see on this, please go ahead and let me know in the comments. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in a bit.